Now, Mohamad Elmasry is a professor of media studies at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. He outlines the latest developments in Doha over the past few hours and also highlights the strategic importance of the Udeid US Air Base in Qatar.
There have been dozens of these loud booms. We assume that these are all interceptions of the Iranian missiles, and it's a scary situation. There's no question. People are scared. Children, I have children, and they're quite scared. It was difficult for a lot of people to sleep last night. Thankfully, I think the damage has been relatively limited, although I did see a report suggesting that there is one person in serious condition.
It is difficult to imagine that there would even be these attacks on Qatar, given that it is seen and it is generally such an incredibly safe country. I know I have friends and former colleagues who live and work there, and they would never think that something like this would actually happen. But can you explain to our viewers about the airbase that is located there, the US Air Base? I believe it's Al Udeid, and it's the biggest in the region, so very much a target for the Iranians.
Yeah, well, first of all, you're right. I mean, Doha and Qatar, very safe places. In fact, it's interesting because I interact with a lot of Western expats, and they'll often say that it's much safer here than it is where they've come from the United States or the United Kingdom or Australia or wherever. As far as the airbase, Al Udeid Air Base, you're right. It is the largest air base in the region, the largest American air base. It's a very complicated situation. We always talk about relationships are complicated. I think they're even more complicated in international relations. I think everyone understands why Qatar hosts this military base. It's a very small country, and it is surrounded by states that have been historically hostile to it. And so there is a need for that kind of protection. On the other hand, it certainly does draw the ire of some international actors, including Iran, that are opposed to U.S. hegemony. In a sense, Qatar has been kind of caught in the crossfire. I think it is worth noting that Qatar did tell the U.S. That they would not allow the U.S. military to use the airbase as an attack point against Iran. So I think that there was an expectation, and I think probably rightly so, there was an expectation that Qatar would not be hit. But nonetheless, the Iranians have decided to strike.
Yeah, they certainly have, and it's not just Qatar that has been hit. There are several other countries in the region who have been affected. We're now getting reports the Gulf Cooperation Council's foreign ministers will be holding an emergency meeting today. What do you expect to come of that meeting, considering that some of the countries that are part of that group don't always see eye to eye?
Yeah, look, I think that there are different routes, right? I mean, what Iran would like to see is these GCC leaders come together and decide to put more pressure on the United States, basically, to end this war, which even they say is a war of aggression, right? Iran did not pose an imminent threat to the United States. The other possibility, though, and I would love to be a fly on the wall in this meeting, but the other possibility is that they actually will go back to the United States and say, okay, we will allow you to use our bases as attack sites or launching off points for attacks against Iran. And that is, I think, a possibility that we have to grapple with, particularly because the attacks by Iran do not seem to be abating. We're, again, I was just mentioning that overnight there were numerous loud booms heard and felt here in Doha.
Yeah, and it's interesting looking at the international reaction to all of this, because there has been condemnation from many Western countries over Iran's strikes, and yet not possibly the same sort of reaction towards the United States and Israel, who were the first ones to actually launch those strikes against Iran. The only sort of condemnation we've heard really is now coming from Russia and Iran following the killing of the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Yeah, I did see that Norway also condemned the attacks by the U.S. and Israel, but they may be the only European country to do so. But it's not surprising. I mean, it's not surprising. For the most part, the Western powers, the UK and France and Germany, are in cahoots with the United States and with Israel. They've been supportive of U.S. policy in the region, and they've been supportive, for the most part, and they've been supportive of Israeli policy in the region, including supporting Israel's genocide in Gaza. So I don't think anyone is particularly surprised at the reaction or lack of reaction in Europe or in the West.
What does this do to Israel and the United States' image internationally? Israel, of course, their perception to most of the world has changed so much since that genocide in Gaza started. But now, having done this to Iran and the regional implication, this surely must also worsen that image in many ways to millions of people across the world.
Yeah, I mean, well, academic experts have long considered Israel and the United States to be kind of the two leading rogue states in the world. And I think now what you're seeing is that lay people are seeing the same thing. And to your point, public opinion about Israel is more negative now than at any point in recorded history. And I think that that's likely to continue now in the aftermath of this most recent war, which people are going to see as a war of aggression. It's interesting to track public opinion in the United States, and I'm going to be very keen to follow the fallout in the U.S. because the majority of Americans, according to polls just done a few days ago, were not supportive of a potential U.S. attack on Iran. And we're already starting to see some of the divide play out, not just along party lines between